Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Smartest Dumb People. I'm the host, Anthony That Dude Johnson. I'm sitting here with my co-host, LV Leland Vaughn TV. We about to go in. All right, so today's topic is how kids are being the social media sites are hyper generalizing sexual activity with kids. That was hard for me to say, by the way. But anyway, so basically we speaking on our experiences with our children and things like that, and we're going to talk about the Nova situation. Let's just say that. We're going to talk about the Nova situation. This can't be nothing but an 11-year-old girl, okay? And this can't be nothing but a 2-year-old girl. So we're talking about these issues, and that's what we wanted to address today. So basically, we're going to go in. So I'm going to start it off by saying I think that times have changed so much that we used to be able to hide our kids from stuff, and now all they have to do is go in the room and look on their phone, and it's right there. And not only that, we have these people that's dealing with pedophiles and pedophilia, things like that, that's now coming out in the light. And what I mean by that is say for example the Fashion Nova kids line wear. That was crazy what they had on. Yes. Period. Across the board, it was crazy what they had on. I don't understand the angle, but I do understand the angle. I don't understand the angle as a parent. I understand the angle as the times have changed to the point where they are trying to normalize pedophilia in a way. And I'm not for it. I think a 11-year-old girl, a 12-year-old girl should act like they're 11 and 12. Matter of fact, I don't even think, personally, sex was on anybody's mind back in my day until we were in our teens. But it's starting so early. For example, I'm going to give you a personal example of mine because it just happened to me. My daughter was doing TikTok videos, I'm a savage and all these things, and she was dancing inappropriately. We immediately shut down the site. She's no longer able to do it. A lot of y'all seen my daughter in my videos. This was crazy. A lot of y'all seen my daughter in my videos, and my daughter was like, I don't want to do videos with you no more, Dad. But that was her starting to feel like she was grown. But when she started to feel like she was grown, she was doing inappropriate things on these sites. Not that bad. I want to expose my baby girl like that. She wasn't doing things that bad, but she was also doing little dance videos. And in kids' eyes, they mock what they see. And if all you see all day long is these kids dancing in a sexual manner, you gotta understand, these are pedophiles out. There's pedophiles out there that's following your kids to see that behavior. And I felt like I wasn't doing my due diligence as a father, allowing my daughter to be exposed to these TikTok or whatever, TikTok things, whatever it is. I exposed her. I know it is. I tried to sneak it in. I tried to slide it in there. But so basically, I didn't want my daughter to be involved with that activity anymore. And I just chose to go delete all her social sites. They still up, but she's not posting anything else until she's a grown woman, until she's 18 and out of my house. Period. So, what's your take on it, Lee? We're gonna start.
I'm gonna let TV go.
Let TV go. Yeah. What's your take on the TV?
My take on it is, we all been children. We all know what we went through as children. Sometimes we tend to forget because we're dealing with this adult life, but a child's mind is like mold, and it's being molded, especially from the ages from 1 to 7, and then again from the ages from at least 7 to 12. Mm-hmm. After 12, I think they have a generalization, an understanding of kind of where the world is at and where they might want to go. But until then, I don't think up until the age of 12 that sexuality shouldn't even be a subject.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They're trying to mold themselves. They're trying to find out what their skills are in life, what they're here for, why they're on this earth, how they're going to benefit the earth, what they have to offer. And none of that at that point, in that period of time, should be what they prefer sexually. And I ain't even talking about, you know what I mean? I mean, like, because it's just so much, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like they pushing and I'm not to offend anyone. You know, they're pushing homosexual agendas on them, and that doesn't mean I have anything against homosexual. They're pushing little girls. Like, he has a couple pictures. I don't know if he's gonna show them tonight, but you got babies. I mean, 2 years old. You got them in skirts, short skirts. You got 4-year-olds in skirts turning backwards, just like a bunch of women, you know, and nothing wrong with the women on Facebook, but you know, you turn it around, you showing your backsides, the first thing you're showing, and of course you're doing that trying to be sexy, trying to appeal to the opposite sex, but that is not for a 4-year-old. It's not for a 7-year-old. It's not for a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old. And even when I said when they get 12 and they start to actually kind of understand opposite sex, it's still not for them yet either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you want your child to know their stuff. You want them to know.
That's boy or girl. That's
yeah.
And I want to
it's going
say,
both ways.
Because it's going both ways. And our kids is being exposed as boy and girl way too early. I got deleted. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you good. No, you good.
I got deleted by somebody because I said I didn't agree with the way Dwayne Wade was parenting his son. But all I was trying to say is, give your son a chance to be himself without trying to push himself on him. So just because you say I like boys, Dad, like I understand, son, but you're so young. Give it time. Give it some time before I put you in a dress and some heels and color your hair and you all over the pitch, you all over TV. So if his son ever decided to go back to his natural habitat and be with a woman, he gonna have those pictures of him being a girl. Then he's gonna be teased and taunted for that. So I'm saying, how can a child make a decision, and it's our job as parents to not put our kids in those situations to where we're making the decision for them and don't even realize we are. So for example, I was watching a show, shout out to Brilliant Idiots, I was watching a show and Charlamagne the God brought up that Mario, I think it's Mario Lopez, he said something about how can a kid know their sexuality at 3 years old, like what sex they want to date, and they tried to cancel culture him, like he can't get a job now because he was explaining that at 3 years old, if she say I like boys or he say I like boys, they shouldn't be in a situation to where as a parent you don't have to explain anything. Let them develop.
Yes.
And when Mario Lopez, I want to say Mario Lopez, the dude from Saved by the Bell. They trying to cancel him because he was saying there's no way in the world a 3 to 4-year-old knows their sexuality.
They don't even know their ABCs yet. They don't even know their ABCs yet. But go ahead, bro.
Okay. So, but now, just to touch on something different, we don't know that. Now that's something that we didn't know. That same way they got 4-year-olds who can read a book front to back, that can speak different languages.
You're right about that.
And it's been scientifically studied that a child learns the most in the first 4 to 5 years of their life is when a child learns, brains develop and learn the most. And so, my take on it, what I think is that it go back to a conversation
shout out
we
to
had.
Owen, shout out to Phelps,
a few shows,
shout out to Andre,
a few shows ago.
Okay.
Now, there is a natural makeup of the human body. Your body will mature at the same pace as had always been. That's a fact.
So what's your opinion?
And so let me unpack it because what happens is that you can't make a 13-year-old, or let's even go back, you can't make a 12-year-old that's developing a body and still put her in pigtails and tell her that she don't have them women emotions. That's a society saying, well, you shouldn't have those. You shouldn't have those feelings. You shouldn't have those emotions of wanting to have sex. Or your mind shouldn't be that developed that to where you don't want to have sex. But that's a society putting a parameter around something that comes natural. And so, I don't know how old you was when you thought that you might have wanted to get some. Was you in the 7th grade? Was you in the 8th grade? Was you in high school?
You said you made a good example the other day when you on TV was chopping up. You was like, I was playing house.
Yeah,
I'm the daddy.
I mean, everybody played hide and go get it.
Yeah.
All the kids that went outside and then everybody then played hit the lights at night when they sisters and their brothers and then everybody was all in one room, everybody then hit them lights and got to humping on somebody and wicked witch,
right,
and then got back and then the lights got back on. And so these are natural maturation of life. And so what I begins to happen, what I think that begins that happens is that when you start putting these parameters on these young adults, young women, and they want to feel like a woman because they having menstruals, they starting to feel like a woman.
You ain't having no menstruals at that age.
My daughter has.
Yeah, now you talking about 13. I'm talking about younger than
that.
No.
My daughter got her menstrual at 9 years old.
But then what happens is that they will not do what to their daughter what that was done to them, and that would stagnate their growth, made them feel like they was a child when they were feeling like women. And so then that opens up a corridor of they say, well, I'm trying to understand, I want to understand my daughter's sexuality more.
Crazy. I hear you, Ola. It's a sensitive.
And I want to say this. We knew this was a touchy topic before we opened it up. But that's why we the smartest dumb people. We're gonna push the envelope. We're gonna say shit people don't want to hear. We're gonna do things people don't agree with. That's why we are men. That's what makes us men. We're going to always stand by our ground on what our opinion is, and that's what makes us the smartest dog people. But no, I'm saying he said that it's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
It's going to rub people.
I just want to unpack it and I'll finish.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then that's the same way you would say, well, I would understand my son more than my parents try to understand me more. And so then what you'll have happen when motherfuckers don't think that marijuana is that bad.
Can you show that picture again?
I do, right? And so you'll let some people that will smoke weed with their kids that will say, well, I would have been in less trouble if I'd have been more understanding with my child when they was coming up and understanding their growth instead of stagnating them. And I feel like that's where these corridors of these, because it's women that's allowing these young children to dress like that. It's the parent that's allowing, that's signing off, that's putting their John Hancock on them photos, on all of that. They can't do none of that.
Well, I hear you, Dre.
They can't do none of that without the parents.
Well,
go ahead.
I was about to say it's called a parent selling their soul. That's what it's called. Because there ain't no fucking way you'll catch my 11-year-old beautiful daughter in this outfit. I just showed the picture. There's no way you would see my 11-year-old daughter.
Happening.
Listen, I'm gonna give you another example. My 18-year-old niece built like her whole family is, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say that. And I love this. I raised her since she was born. Me and her and my son. I raised her since she was born. But I haven't seen her in a while because I've been living here. So all of a sudden, I see her, and the first thing I see her is she has a sports bra on, half top, and some leggings. I see an old head walking. Hey, baby girl, ain't you supposed to be in school? That's the pedophilia in him.
Yeah, right.
But she got, don't get me wrong, she's 18. So in her mom and her auntie's head, when I said something to her, she came for me. She came for me so strong. Child detaining my niece. She hurt my feelings really bad. We had a conversation, but she came for me. She was like, I'm grown. I'm like, 18. First off, 18 ain't fucking grown. You still live. It's not, dog.
Now that's my point. Now that's my point. Hold on. Let me get my point off. Let me get my point off. But I'm gonna say what Andre just said right here. He said retailers make clothes that are sexually inspired regardless of age. So we're talking about the influence of society. But let's be real. I don't care what's going on with your child. If they do have a period at 9 years old, you don't want them to go out and have a baby at 9 years old because they can't take care of themselves at that point.
I agree.
Right.
You're going to be taking care of that child. But see, that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is this here. Yeah, your child can run around and be sexually explicit or whatever, but when some little boy come and actually make that knock her down and knock her up, now where are we sitting? Because now they don't even know how to take care of themselves in society because they've been to being sexually What I want to say, looked at sexually and focused on the sexual side of things.
Okay.
They don't know their skill in life. They don't know what they have to offer in life, but that. And
Right.
that's how you get to a point to where now you got your daughter, which is a 17-year-old stripper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you have to. Now I'm not saying nothing wrong with stripping.
No.
I'm saying that I didn't. In my case, I didn't bore my daughter for her to get 17 and not even know herself, for her to be limited in the mind for the fact before she's even out the house to where she's got to think about, I'm gonna make my money like this because I didn't develop myself.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way I was supposed to.
One thing that we got to remember is we saying I. You said you felt that way for your niece. You didn't feel that way because this society now have debilitated the growth of individuals to where it was a point in time when you turned 18, it was time to go. You was going off to make your own family, to build your own, to build a family and to have a family. It was nobody was running around telling no we'll sit here, hold on, time out. We'll sit here and say an 18-year-old ain't grown, but they can sign up for the military.
But my point is, we're not even talking about 18-year-olds. We're talking about 12 and under.
I'm still unpacking.
Right.
And so what happens is that those vulnerable years of maturity and growth is what's needed to when they reach 18, they're not stagnant. You got some females and males that still failure to launch and they 40 and they 30. You know what I'm saying?
We got to speak on all ages. I mean, all sexes, though. This is
I said male and female.
Oh, okay.
And so that's still, and so now it's natural, or it's stated to be natural, that women mature faster than men.
This is true, though.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that's true?
I don't. I seen some motherfuckers older than me.
I think my daughter is smarter than my son. I'm about to say, I think my daughter is way more mature than my son, and my daughter's only 11. My son is 18.
But that's a stigma that women mature faster than men.
Is it true though?
I think so.
I mean, but we have different
that's what I'm
points.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, because when a man matures, he has a lust. He wants women. When women mature, they want stability. They want a husband, or they want a boyfriend, or they want a family.
They don't make that way no more.
That's when they mature.
But
they don't.
We're not talking about.
But that's what's wrong.
In that level of maturity, that begins when a flower develops. Even though it may be young, they may not be mentally there. They still don't even want to touch boys. You know what I'm saying? A boy is still ooh, but the growth doesn't stop. Because the parameters
mature, say they are 9 years old, they're having a period.
Right.
What is happening? What is happening with a period?
They're maturing.
It's an egg developing.
Right.
That's all.
What is the egg for? To get fertilized.
Right.
So that's why they got MTV got that show, the Pregnant Teens. I hate that show.
Man,
like that's ruining. It's exposing.
Yes.
And then you got a 13-year-old girl watching. Then you got a 13-year-old girl watching this 13-year-old girl that's pregnant with a boyfriend. Which I don't understand how you got a boyfriend.
13-year-olds that was getting pregnant back in the cave days. What about the 15-year-old that was having?
That was before. That was before the books was written. That was before the laws was written. Though.
That's why we have a modern society, because we learned from them days,
bro.
We learned from them days.
I got a fact.
This ain't the Stone Age.
I got a fact for y'all. So, women get pregnant later in life now than ever before.
That's because
if the hypersexualized and they would get pregnant earlier.
No, it's not true. See, women are.
But when you said back, hold on, just hold what he said. When you talk about back in the day, it wasn't hypersexualized back in the day. They just were. That was what was going on.
Was natural.
You had King Tut, that was a
13-year-old
at 13.
Yeah.
Then what happened? His uncle killed him off. He couldn't even protect himself because he couldn't make the calls that the civilization or the society thought that he should make. You see what I'm saying? No, he was just too young to make the decisions that were supposed to be made, like going to war and things like that.
Right.
So his uncle killed him off because he said he was the bloodline. He came
So
into the
he came in
bloodline at
natural
13.
order.
He came in natural order.
Okay.
When really they should have went outside the bloodlines of somebody that was more mature.
See, but
that was more experienced.
You also got to take in that the life expectancy back then was 27 years old.
Okay, yeah, we could take that.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's not
and so
today.
that's the even so our life expectancy today is 60. If we having babies at 30, we only get to enjoy. We only got 30 more years, and then half of that's gonna be filled up with some children.
What do you mean only?
That ain't a lot.
That's double the time what you was just saying.
That ain't a lot.
The life expectancy was 27. Now we got 33 more years.
But that was back in those times.
All right, so I want to know.
But the responsibility was that high.
You dance around a lot.
They didn't parameter the responsibility.
You dance around the topics a lot. I'm calling you out. What's your opinion on the society?
I just told you.
Being hyper.
I told you that it's the society that is hyperlizing these that have. I'm telling you.
How do you feel about your daughter?
No. How I feel about my daughter?
Like
I feel like that my daughter is of age. I knew that she was going to become of an age. What age did I know that she was going to become sexually active? I didn't know. What I poked in pride? Yes, I did. You know what I'm saying? Because I have known 13-year-olds that was having sex, 14-year-olds that was having sex. It all depends on the person. But the thing is that I did not try. Now, it was a few times she had a belly shirt on, and I was like, nah, take that off. She 8th, 9th grade. You know what that would open the door to?
What's up, head?
She'd say, oh, my dad did that when I was in the 8th, 9th grade, made me take this belly shirt off. And then with my daughter, when I have my own kids, I'm not going to do that to them.
I don't think that
generational
curse don't always not generational. No, listen, generational. I agree.
Have you ever feel stagnant?
But listen,
have you ever dancing around the question? Have you ever feel stagnant?
When you become a parent,
I'm not asking.
Realize this is what we have to.
Don't realize that.
This is what we have to address.
All parents don't even take care of their kids.
This is what we have to address, because you're right. What you're saying is 100% right, but I feel like it can work the opposite way too, because I could also be like, damn, I should have listened to my mom and dad because they was right. I shouldn't have wore no belly shirt at in the 9th grade. My daughter ain't wearing no belly shirt.
And you know when you're going to say that?
And I'm going to piggyback off of this.
Go ahead.
I'm going to piggyback off of this. We're in a society, and we grew up in this. Mm-hmm. None of us have children. I believe none of us have children for things like this to happen. So we're saying they're developing on their own. But I know for a fact when we was coming up that our parents was working so much that we were getting molded by the TV.
Yeah. But the TV was different then. We had Brady Bunch and shit like that.
No, but it was still some other stuff going on too, because you had a chance to watch cable. Now everything is cable. Cable is like regular TV now. But if you was one of them things that could afford cable, and you like me when I was young, I was flicking through and I'm not saying I was no different. So what I'm saying is that I did some things when I was younger that now I regret.
And
you know what I'm saying? That was ingrained in me. Yeah, and I'm trying to make sure, but the TV is raising them. Like Andre said, like, again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. When I started taking my daughters, when they were like, because I got 3 daughters, 17, 19, and 22. But when they were like 10, 11, 12, I'm trying to go get them something decent to wear, and it's nothing decent for them to wear. Yep, it's all spandex, it's all hard tops, belly out. Mm-hmm. They think it's cute. They mama's letting them wear it. I'm trying to find a you know what I mean, not an old-fashioned what would I say, Little House on the Prairie dress, you know what I'm saying, or I'm just looking for something to have them fully clothed.
And with respect. I mean, I just please, this is all I want from society. Bring back the child.
You saying
I'm gonna say
listen, I feel like that the child.
Bring back the child.
The immaturity, that same way.
Bring back the immaturity.
The shit I went through as a kid made me who I am today. I wouldn't be able to defend. I wouldn't be able to fend for myself how I fend for myself. I wouldn't be able to avoid gangs, bullshit, all kinds of shit that would have led me in trouble without.
But you have to admit, not to cut you off, you have to admit you were getting influenced outside of your parents most of the time. We've been influenced. We in a
this is
society
what I
right
was talking
now.
about.
We're in a society right
What you're
now
saying?
where society has a big say so in your household through the TV, through the radio, and through retailing, like Andre just said.
You sound sick.
Okay, but I sound sick to you, but I listen. What I went through as a child.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? So
your kids didn't go through that though.
What you mean?
Your kids didn't go through that.
You don't know what my kids went through.
I know I'm your friend, and I know your kids didn't go through the shit you went through.
You say it don't seem like.
It don't seem like.
So that's the same way if someone who parents was addicted to drugs, you know what they'll say? I never do my kids like that. And most of them people won't even get addicted to drugs. And all the majority, not speaking for all of them, the majority of kids that when I was coming up and who had mom and dads at home, they was the worst kids ever. You know what I'm saying? Their behavior was ridiculous. They was off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Right. Parents was coming to pick them up. I had a choice to run the streets. I had a choice to, but once I seen for myself at an early age, and so once I seen at an early age that this ain't for me, and by the time I got to the age to where I will be influenced more by gang violence, when I'm becoming a mature adult, when I'm becoming 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, I already seen that I'm off that. But if I'd have been sheltered from that, then that's it. You hear people run all day long be like, man, why did that man wait till he was 20 to jump off the porch?
I agree.
Why did that man wait till he was 18 to jump off the porch? That because he didn't have no other choice. The parameters was put on him. I was running the streets when I was 5, and I ain't talking about dealing no drugs, running no streets. I was in and out neighborhoods, running in.
That was okay back then.
But you losing me a little bit because I don't see nothing wrong at this point with jumping off the porch when you 20, because you're gonna find out real soon that that's not the thing to do.
Right, but
real soon.
But
you know what I'm saying?
You know, but the thing is that the access to trouble. I'm talking about the access. So I'm more likely to get more trouble at 16 than I was at 13. Because
somebody's likely to get a record.
And so somebody see me walking the streets, and I ain't talking about the police. I'm talking about as far as interacting with gang violence and interacting with potential deadly situations. That's more likely to happen to me when I'm matured than when I'm 13. And so going back to what I said, what I initially said is that I feel like that the parameters that are put around the women that are maturing and not able to mature, they say, I don't want to do my child like that, because we got to go back to the ultimate, we have to go back to the ultimate thing. These sexual predators, pedophiles,
out here.
They can't do nothing without the consent of a parent. They can't. Hold on.
You can't say that.
Hold on. Let me retract.
Yeah, because I'm about to go right into what your sister said.
Hold on. Let me recorrect that. Okay. I'm talking about far as y'all talking about Fashion Nova. I'm talking far as y'all talking about publicized children.
Well, they're trying to sell it to our children. They're trying to sell. That's why the show's called Save Our Children.
Somebody parent okay that. Why? What make you think that these millions of parents that is okaying these children to take these photos? Where do you think they got that mindset from? You think they just came out of the blue?
We can't say the parents wasn't the same when they was younger. Now that's not act like everybody started off as adults now.
That's true.
It's not act like on the drug dealers that you talking about. They wasn't children at some point, and their parents didn't do it. Now let's talk about what Janice just said. She said it's very common for children to change into clothes they want to wear when they aren't in the presence of their parents.
What age?
So this is what I'm saying.
What
Sexual
age?
predators don't have to go through the parents.
They don't.
Because if your daughter is going to throw a skimpy outfit in her bag and wear this in front of you and then get to school. No, it's not. It's the same subject. It's the same subject. Because now they put themselves as they're rebelling against we're talking about this child that is not mature putting herself in a vulnerable position.
That snuck off, right? Now that's different from a child sneaking off.
But she's only sneaking off because she sees it on TV all day, and she thinks that's the thing to do. The publicized part is affecting the child.
For the child. Now I know. Now there was sometimes, somebody might get some clothes from their friend, but we still have to go back to the original point. The mom is purchasing these clothes the majority of the time that sexualize the children.
And
I just don't want to say the mom. I'm sorry.
Don't forget that the retailers are providing that. I just said that. Like,
I'm sorry.
Like, sometimes when you go shopping, that's all that's available.
And so,
especially for a child that we're talking about that's very developed.
So now the parent is no longer in control of what the child wears.
The parent, this is what I was saying earlier.
They should.
The parent right now at this point, unless you have really a village of a family, and I know some village of some family. I mean, everywhere the child go, grandma house, auntie house, everywhere, cousin house, everybody really has a rule of thumb for them. Mm-hmm. But it's not like that with every household. And so society, because I even grew up off the TV. My mom had to work. I got out of school, had to wait for mom to get out of work, so I'm watching TV, and I learned a lot of that stuff. You gotta admit influence from the TV. Like, don't get me wrong, the gangs came in like 1987, 88, right?
Yeah.
But until Colors came out and Menace to Society, after that the gang population boosted to the it went to the ceiling.
I watched Colors and took off home. I know my homegirl, Nikki Jordan, shouts out to you. I watched that shit, boy. I left out that guy out that door, nigga.
You jumped on.
And I agree. Ola said everything is not just TV and stuff. It's at home, in the home, and around the home, and we got to admit that.
Yeah.
But we can also say again that these parents was influenced a certain way when they were younger.
So do you think that, now can you agree with that, a parent being stagnated as far as growth would influence their behavior on their own child? As far as, and so you got some, and I just don't want to keep saying women, but you know what I'm saying? I mean,
it's just easy for us as men to do that. We don't mean no offense, right?
You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not quite. I don't know how many men will go show up at Fast and Over with their daughter in a two-piece. You know what I'm saying? In a tutu. You know what I'm saying? But what will make someone think that it's okay? Is it the money? You think that someone can come to someone with enough money and say, "Let me put your daughter
for 20 bands"? I think most people will fold for 20,000.
You think you agree with that?
20,000? Yeah. I know I'm not. Not with my child, but I can't speak for everybody.
I'm saying, like most people will fall for fucking income tax check.
Shit, 20,000. Go on and
hold on, because it's crazy. Because
I'll be okay. I'll be right here in the corner, Goofy.
I was watching. This is what's her name? I was just saying it earlier. Something Jaguar.
Jaguar Wright.
Jaguar Wright, there you go, Jaguar Wright.
Yeah.
So Jaguar Wright was talking about how a lot of these, you know what I'm saying, like the Buffy the Bodies and everything was getting sold from rap group to rap group for 500 in a mixtape.
Yeah.
So we ain't gotta talk about no thousands.
She was jumping out the window though lately though.
Man,
she said something about Diddy. She said something about she been talking about a lot of motherfuckers. Yeah.
All the stuff that we thought, all the rumors that we thought, is starting to come out to be real.
Yeah.
We was guessing on it. She in the industry.
Yeah.
She's still a writer.
See, propaganda lies told us to live a simple life. The Bible says not to prostitute your children. Entertainment has told us it's okay to express yourself. That includes all ages. But these ages have to have a vehicle. A 2-year-old have to have a vehicle. A 2-year-old can't create his own vehicle to...
When you say vehicle, you mean outlet.
Right.
Okay.
It has to have a means to a way. And so a 2-year-old can't get up and say, you know what? Okay, I'm about to go put this diaper and this thing on my... I'll catch you later.
And start twerking.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going...
Man,
now, I have seen some videos with some young... But you see women... Hand me one of them napkins.
That's mine. All right.
No
use
coke.
that.
No
I use
coke.
that.
No coke.
But grab you some. Grab you some.
But you see,
in the bathroom.
but you see, some women that twerk with their kids.
And that's what
On
I'm saying.
video.
It's learned behavior. None of these children are just, even if it's a 9-year-old that's coming into her period, if she hasn't been shown that that is a sexual thing, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's not even gonna think about it like that. She's gonna think something wrong with her. She's just gonna think she's bleeding.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So these minds are being molded. They're seeing these things and they're imitating them when you're a child. Then you get the experience and then you make your own decisions. They ain't just coming out at 2 or 3 twerking, thinking about sex.
Oh, my sister made a good point. Remember John Bonet?
Yeah. Had her in the pageant.
She was. Yo, we need to talk about the.
But ended up in a pedophile ring. That's what she didn't. That's what she didn't mention.
Yeah.
Her dad and them had a pedophile ring. They was doing business. They was selling their daughter out to these groups.
The older one?
And then they end up killing her.
Why the other 2 got away?
Who?
The other 2 children.
No,
Bonet wasn't the only kid.
Bert was her brother. He was going through it too. He's messed up. That's why when they do interviews with him and he's smiling funny as they ask him these questions, they saying that he has 2 different personalities because he got this other personality he don't know how to deal with because he was going through the same sexual exploitation she was going through.
I want to know, to jump back on subject, I want you to explain the show you was talking about.
No, hold on. Let me answer Ola real quick. Hold that thought.
Well,
a period is a sexual thing, but what I'm saying, Ola, is if the child is not aware of it, if they haven't been taught that that's a sexual thing, then they're not going to automatically come to that assumption. That's just in my opinion. But go ahead with what you were saying.
No, hold on. What Ola say? I missed.
He said a period is a sexual thing. And that's what I said that earlier. I said it's an edge.
It's a maturity thing,
right?
right?
But the child is not going to know that unless somebody makes them aware of that.
Because your body mature don't mean you're mature.
And that you just think, oh, now that I'm having a period, it's time for me to go have sex. You telling me that a
you
child
need
automatically thinks that?
I need one of the females in here to ask one of the co-hosts when they got on a Woody the first time, did they know
a period is different though? A period is different.
When?
No, I don't think so. I don't. Look,
I'm just getting Woodies.
What do y'all
I'm just getting Woodies at 7, 8 years old.
But you was looking like, what the heck is this?
But you don't.
That didn't mean I want to use it.
Eventually you wanted to know, what the heck is this? You went from 3-year-old.
But is that because you had a wet dream?
Pause.
Because sometimes the fluid then built up and you just woke up in the morning like this here and there's a little fluid that came out. You don't know what it is.
Lacey said kids know things are sexual. Kids don't know things are sexual unless they're told. And I agree with my sister.
So who told the kids back in the cave days? Who told a kid when there was no radio, TV, video, nothing, that this is what your vagina is for?
The older person.
Okay,
always.
so now why
they still do it today? They still do it in today's society.
But why do that?
The older person exploits kids to sexual behavior.
Nobody have to tell the lion and tiger. Nobody have to tell the animal kingdom. They have a social makeup.
I'm be honest with you.
You don't know, but what don't make no sense is that you don't understand humans. So how do a lion and a
like you try to explain to me my daughter at 9 years old? No,
all the age don't make you grown. Not at all.
How do you think a lion and a tiger know to have sex? Who told them that?
They don't have sex at fucking.
You don't know what anything. How you know? You watched them? How do you know? But how do they find out is the question. No. How do an animal? No, hold on, time out. Y'all have to answer the question.
I'm trying to.
How do an animal?
Ask me the question.
How do an animal know that they need to mate?
I think it
to have children.
I think it comes with experience and age. Experience and age.
And so
I guess animals ain't watching other animals either.
Yeah.
I guess they ain't
experience.
just dog ain't just going through the neighborhood, little pup, and see another dog, another pit,
that's what I was saying.
knocking down another female pit. You telling me that ain't happening? They're not aware. Like animals
all right,
just
so tell me this.
right?
So tell me this. Put a child.
What's up, Asia?
Why y'all keep saying child?
Because that's what we're talking about, children. Put a child.
I'm not talking about
put a child. All right, I'm about to explain myself. Put a child in a room by themselves from 1 to 18. No sexualization.
No nothing.
Nothing.
No.
And all this kid
They're gonna
does.
be popping themselves. Facts.
I don't agree with that.
They're gonna be popping themselves. That's a fact. That is a fact. That lust is natural. It's a natural.
But if they're in the
human
if
instinct,
they're in the blank room,
I'm with Andre. Andre says learn behavior. Man, look, these kids' minds are it's like clay.
Now hold on. Now you got other.
Listen to me.
This
Listen
is
to
the
what I
only
say this.
society now.
I was 5 years old and I knew what sex was. Why? Because my parents, and not to shoot my parents down or any of my uncles and that, they had these card parties and they playing cards. And what they do? They got one TV sitting here playing cartoons, the other TV sitting with porn. You know what I'm saying? And then we sitting down trying to watch cartoons, but let your head do this here. Pat, but get you look over there. But you ain't gonna be doing this.
Yeah.
And that was all learned behavior for me at that time, and that's my experience. You see what I'm saying?
All societies ain't built like this.
All right, so let's speak on
other societies.
Let's speak on personal experience.
That can't even wear their natural hair. That they have to do their hair wrap and wear a dress down to their toes.
All right, but we're not talking about other nations. We just talking about us.
No, you is. I'm talking about. I ain't talking about nations at all.
I'm
talking about human behavior.
That's not the American nation.
I'm talking about human behavior.
The American nation.
I'm talking about the human behavior. I'm not talking about a nation. Period.
So tell me how my daughter learned about sex. Tell me how my daughter at 11 years old learned about sex. She didn't fucking learn it from me. Tell me that.
I don't know.
Tell me that. Because you're explaining that she learns this behavior.
I'm talking about human nature. Like I said, can we agree that there's other countries that don't have this problem as far as porn and everything sensationalized and kids and all this shit? And when they come out the house, they wrapped from the head of their
there you go. We just go to Bible times. You know you be in the Bible, so what they had the robes on, right?
Right. To the toes of their feet. Right. And so we're
oh, you crazy. That's what they did, bro. You already know. They don't act like you ain't been around.
What did he say?
Let me get to talking about, man. Don't get me started, Ola.
I'm asking you.
Running around.
That's my point.
But you just said it. You said it best. You kind of. I'm gonna be honest with you. You kind of juggling. You said it's human nature on one end, and then you said it's other nations, meaning other countries, that don't sexualize and have this type of problem.
But they still know about sex.
No, but you, like I said, you're teeter-tottering.
They still
You're not saying that they know about sex before they're 12 years old.
Man, it's other countries where it's legal to marry a 12-year-old.
I ain't saying it's not.
And no 12-year-old ain't watching none of this or get none of that. That's just their oral tradition.
But when it's
what
legal
we about.
to marry,
so it might
that has
not be
nothing to do with the sexual exploitation that we talk about. Why? Because they understand that they at that level where they can have babies. So now they're trying to put them in a structure to where they can have a family.
Back to what
and
I'm
they can
saying.
build towards society. This shit that we doing right now is loose.
Okay.
It's totally loose. It ain't no structure. We already got a bunch of babies that got babies. We got 38-year-old grandmas around here. Like, come on, they don't even want to watch the kids no more. Like, let's be real about the whole big scope of what's going on.
And so you saying the same thing I'm saying. Is that I feel like that the parameters that have been put around the women as far as maturing is opening up doors for them to accept that their daughter be more sexualized at a younger age. And so that just like you were saying, when I say that there are countries where 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds be married off.
I understand that.
And that they become wives.
I understand.
And like you said, that they start a family, they start a structure.
So they could build towards society and a nation.
Right. And so that ideology here is off.
Of course, because we are a crazy ass nation.
My point.
Period.
My point. I'm
just saying, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
here we go.
You want to try to create some type of order.
Right.
And all this chaos going on.
But then when you stop the order, that's when you open up corridors where the women may say, well, I will stop from maturing. And I won't stagnate my daughter like that. There have to be something to make somebody put their 5-year-old, unless it's the money.
It's always gonna be the money. What about the black lady?
Yeah, Brandy, we said that.
What about the black
lady? Become familiar with yourself a little. That's what you were saying. That if a person is around and You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say that you might not even see the opposite sex, and the genitalia get a little bit sensitive, and then you get the brandy.
Okay, brandy.
And you get to basically. You know what I'm saying? Fondling around with yourself.
You're not going to fondle around with yourself if there's nothing to look at. Was my point.
That's not. She's saying it's not true. You got a woman right there saying it's not true.
Really think so, but
that's a woman. I'm a man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I'm telling you.
So you seen somebody jack off?
No, I'm saying.
What the fuck you mean?
What I mean is, I seen something. I seen something to jack off to.
What made you know that I wanted to masturbate? Because you seeing somebody, you should have said, I want to go have sex with a woman that looks like that, not rape yourself. And so something made you in your mind.
But when you masturbate, you picture it.
You picture
what you want.
I just said exactly what I said. If whoever fucking calling me, I'm gonna kick your ass. Y'all know damn well what time this show is. This show's from, like Red said, this show's from 7:30 to motherfucking 8:30. Don't be calling me. Whoever calling me, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Hey man, look, dude, show the picture.
Hey, this kind of uncomfortable right here.
Show the picture one more time, man.
Brandy.
This right here, this type of stuff is the basis to what I'm talking about. But show the other picture. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
Can they? Okay, they see it on their screen.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, come on,
look right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, but I'm trying to figure out.
We is going on here and all around.
Allowed for her to do that?
I know. Huh?
Somebody parent
no,
had
we already
to sign
said
off.
that. We saying that the parents are signing off on it. We
selling
saying
their
that the
kids,
parents
what
is
we're
influencing. We saying that the parents ain't around and allowing the TV to put these images in the child's head. But is it right? Is the child going to develop in a way that they can become a productive adult in the society? And your family.
I feel like as long as they,
or are they gonna become a burden because of their sexual desires?
That's a possibility.
That was put on them too early.
That's a possibility, but that's always a possibility because as soon as that you can procreate and reproduce, then you can become a parent, and that's how the Most High set it up. He didn't set it up no other way. That's how he. He intended.
Man, look, I gotta put this out here. Carmelita Faulkner, thank you.
Thank you. That's my homegirl. Shouts out.
She said, human beings are of a higher intelligence than animals. Thus, we are able to structure our environment with knowledge so that our children can be attuned to the responsibility that comes along with sexuality.
Amen, girl.
Thank you. That is perfect words.
And I agree with that. But I tell you what. Animal know better than be a homosexual.
Oh,
I tell you that. I know that animals have a social order that they abide by. I know that animals have a social order that they abide by. And the male sleeps with the woman, and the woman sleeps with the female sleeps with the male, and the male sleeps with the female. And so if they're so dumb, how come they don't know better than to do that? And not saying there's anything wrong.
Yeah, please
there's nothing wrong with homosexuality. But from a social order, is something wrong with it. We say something wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? And not saying we as in us. I'm just saying society looks at it as something wrong with it.
Well,
I'm not with no LBG community or no letters and no BLM. So don't get mad at that. I ain't with no BLM. I ain't with no LBQDQD. I ain't with none of that. If someone else is, fine. I got homegirls, love them to death. Homeboys, love them to death. I'm just telling you, I'm not with no letters.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not about to placate tonight. But the animal has a social order.
My point of this whole show is this here. There are predators out here, man. It ain't like they just run around playing around with sexuality in a free society where ain't nobody trying to prey on them.
Yeah.
There's a whole group of
predators,
population of people that is waiting to see these little girls somewhere by themselves. Or now we're in a society where all of our children got these Instagrams and these TikToks and these avenues for these predators to communicate with them right while you in the other room.
Right.
So that's my point to this whole show.
We need to bring back Chris Hansen, Catch a Predator, but ASAP.
Now I agree with that. But
bring that back.
I also want to touch on what you said.
The crazy.
Hey, listen. Them animals in captivity, they don't even have their own natural life and social order. They are in captivity, and so they can't behave how they would naturally behave in the wild.
But they don't usually have sex until they're mature themselves. You don't see no puppies coming right out the womb.
No.
Having no sex, man.
But you see that you see that young motherfucker start coming for that pride. He started coming for that head,
motherfucker. To get on his own though. Like animals is a whole different structure.
I don't even know why we're discussing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, because we're talking about social orders and everything.
I mean,
an animal has a social order.
No, they don't.
Are you crazy?
Motherfucking animal can't even talk.
Animals
are smart. Animals
have a social order.
But they live a shorter lifespan. Animals don't live 60 years.
Nigga,
most of
that same way when wolves roam in the pack, they put the weak in the middle. They put the strong at they put the youngest at the front, the weak in the middle, the strongest at the back. So in case of attack, you have to study these things. You can't sit here and say that animals don't have a social order when they do.
But what does that have to do with the fucking
because they're human beings. You have natural behavior to everybody.
Let me switch it up.
You have a natural behavior as a man. Andre said has a natural behavior. Go ahead.
We get it. Andre says sex exposed early can affect mental development. The mental anguish can last a lifetime, affecting future generations with the trauma from a single person. Big facts. That's big facts right there, man. We're not animals. We're humans.
No, we're
the top of the food chain because we have a mental intellect.
And we have decreased so much that we went to go from having 20, 15, 16 children. It was not normal. It was abnormal for a family not to have 11 or more children. These are facts.
That don't mean they started before they was 12 years old. That don't mean no
motherfuckers became mentally
And I know a couple women that got pregnant at 13. So I ain't saying I ain't seen it happen.
What?
I'm just saying I know a couple women when I was 13 that got pregnant.
I got in there later. I got a couple of women.
Had nothing to do with me.
I got a couple of women that you know what I'm saying in the later age. You know what I'm saying? But it's not normal. It wasn't abnormal.
Crazy. Let me go shoot Ola. Ola said a boy animal know he not supposed to mess with another boy animal.
They know this.
Hey,
say it again, man. Retype it, Ola. They know this. That's why they start gunning for the male at an early age. Why don't you start with this youngin? Why shoot for the top? Why say I want to take this man's place, the pride of this tribe? I want that position.
It's called evolution. Janice Johnson said it's called evolution. Things change over time.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with the. Let's get back to the topic. We got 5 more minutes. Let's get back to the topic. I do not agree with these children being sexualized in any social way.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that neither.
And I'm saying where the show started from is, like I said, I peeked out my daughter's TikTok. I damn near caught a murder charge when I peeked out my daughter's TikTok that she was doing without me. Everybody know me and my daughter.
Put the end piece on it.
Mike Johnson, what's up,
bro? A little less into it. It makes it a little less
murdery.
Or
we know what he talking about, man. It makes you that mad as a father. It makes you that mad as a father, man.
Oh, you said, all right, so my daughter said something that was tied into the anime characters, these new little Chinese cartoons that people been watching. My daughter said some of them was sexy, and it disturbed me for an 11-year-old to say that. Yes, she's 11, but when she started talking about them in a sexual way, I was bothered, and I was ready to slap fire from her ass, and she know I don't play that shit. We shut down all her social sites, so she don't have them no more, and that's that. And I have these conversations with her, and I learned that at any moment she can go left. That's what I learned, because my daughter has always lived in a nice neighborhood. She's always been around nice kids. But I learned that one moment, all it takes is one Instagram post, one whatever, she can go left. So now, me as a parent, I have to do a better job. That's all I can say.
Now check this out.
Is it environmental?
They actually have
yeah, well, I'm saying it's all tied in. Like back in the day, like we were saying, when we were kids, we had to watch TV and things like that. Now we just pick up the phone and everything is right there.
Oh, okay.
Right,
because you mentioned neighborhood, my bad.
Now check this out, and people can look it up on their phone, computer, whatever. They have a doll out right now. There's a doll. It's a baby
where you
doll
touch the PP or
to wear right down by where the vagina is at. They got this button, and when you push the button, she starts giggling, laughing, then she makes a sexual noise.
Or what about the one
they're priming these children?
Where you get it wet, you run it up under warm or hot water. And some of them have a G-string on, or some of them have a outfit on.
That was about 5 years old.
No, that was just recent.
And right now, I think they're either 90% in California with a bill that's being passed that is about to normalize pedophilia.
It will never be passed.
This is what they're doing. That's my point with this whole conversation.
Right, and we can touch on that because we got a minute, because what they're trying to say is that their sexuality is their own personal sexuality. The same way that we had to come to understand that gender on gender sexuality, sexuality was something that we had to understand. Same-sex marriage is something that we had to understand. All of these different things.
Do you understand pedophilia?
Yeah, no, hell no.
They telling you that's something you got to understand now.
But that's what these people who say I was born to be a pedophile.
See, here we go, man.
And so we have to understand someone else's. And so that is like when the letter community, LGBTQ, when they started saying, well, y'all have to respect that we were born this way. Then they started pushing the narrative to where we had to respect that. And so now the pedophiles are creating a narrative of where they saying that if y'all can't respect them and it wasn't accepted socially, y'all have to respect all.
I agree. I mean, I don't agree with that, but I agree with what you're saying.
And so
I don't agree with the pedophilia.
I don't think it should be right, not to cut you off, I don't think it should be right that you got a group of people that think that they have the right to stunt a child's mental development. But I'm going to leave it there. Go ahead.
All right, so I guess that's the show. Make sure you check out the Smartest Dumb Dudes, the Smartest Dumb People 23 at Instagram. Follow us on Instagram and also follow our YouTube. Yeah, follow our YouTube, man.
All y'all.
Come on, man. We got 1,000 followers. We're going to have 1,000 followers show we like 3 away.
And then send your friends the page invite. Stop being selfish.
Man.
Everybody needs everybody needs some of this. Stop being selfish.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Stop being
selfish. This is the Smartest Dumb People TV.
LV.
That dude, we out.
Dog.